Yeah, so I am Katie, I'm the Programmes Director here at Jump, and I'm going to be kind of giving some 5 tips for engaging your staff and students that we've learned from running our programmes. These, whilst we're focusing on universities, these are definitely applicable to kind of all our engagement programmes. We run programmes for NHS trusts, councils with their residents, as well as private companies and universities. And I think learning from that, there's not kind of one single silver bullet in terms of engagement. I think Simon demonstrated it's about a combination of so many different methods and kind of that make up that engagement strategy. But yeah, kind of running through five main tips. So we've got our 5 around create a visible community, inspire action, knowledge is power, incentivize initiatives, and communicate success. So the first one, create a visible community. Why is this important? Well, if it's not visible, then people won't know and won't join ACT, which sounds quite straightforward, really. But then it's that next level of like, well, how do you create that? And one of those things is kind of, who do people listen to? Well, we all listen to different people. We listen to the people we respect, admire, and have a connection with. And we all tune into different channels and absorb information via different mediums. So it's really important to get the messages across multiple channels and target different audiences via those different channels with different messaging. So I just wanted to highlight here, so working with Reading University on their Doing Your Bit programme, they have a video on their website which communicates about the journey sharing tool that they have as part of their Jump programme. So that's just kind of an example of one kind of medium. And then additionally with this, so with staff, staff might probably more likely to listen to Green Champions, peers, managers, perhaps directors, and that will probably depend on the culture that's been created. And then it's about getting it in visible places. So intranet, in-person meetings, in-person events like Green Week or Freshers Fair, staff networking events as well, or I know some places have like days where you can visit all the different networks and hear about them, and Green Champions could be a stand within that. As another example, I guess with students often listen to students, more likely to, I think the Students' Union can have a big role there, and the sabbatical officers can as well. An example here was, we were actually working with South Lanarkshire, and that is a collection of different schools and colleges really that we're working with, and actually they got student representatives involved in their programme during the creation and management of it, and I think that's been really important to getting their voice heard and hearing, what would the students kind of be motivated by and want to see as part of their programme, and that then kind of invests them to help it be a success and help communicate it to their peers. So I guess a question here being like, are there any passionate eco-advocates in your community who can help to inform your programme, whether that's Green Champions or within the student network, the student societies that are around sustainability, or sabbatical officers. So the second point is around inspire action. Ultimately, we're influenced by people around us. We can be inspired by them, and we can inspire others too, which leads to behaviour change. And you might think of some times when you have felt this. Personally, for me, I felt it when I've seen and heard about colleagues who are buying more second-hand clothes, and that's inspired me to do that. And also colleagues who've eaten who are vegan, and that's helped me to reduce my dairy intake. And I'm sure you could probably think of some ideas. So one thing that we're doing, we've recently introduced to our programmes an activity feed. This is a kind of new feature, and it showcases the positive actions that others are taking on the platform, and it helps to foster that community of active members and inspires others to take action. And that sharing of action publicly can increase the likelihood of long-term behaviour change. It creates a sense of accountability for the person that's shared, because they've shared it, they've put it on a public space. It creates support. So there's a like button there where, if I share a picture of tomato plants that I'm growing, someone else likes it, it creates that positive feedback, and that feeling is really important in that kind of behavior change. And also it helps with identity formation, where by putting that out there, we're kind of saying that we're doing this, and that kind of reinforces our kind of identity as like, I'm doing my bit in terms of choosing a more sustainable lifestyle and choosing sustainable choices. And that can obviously then ripple out into the other choices that we have in our lives. So that's a new feature that we're kind of introducing, and it's about that inspiring action. And then the other example I wanted to showcase was Greenwich's programme. So this is a screenshot from their programme, and this is the employability theme which Simon talked about, and just kind of showcasing that kind of inspiring action for the future, not just for today or the here and now. So number 3 is around knowledge is power, and I really liked what Simon said about that. You learn, that enables people to engage and then act, and that knowledge is such an important step because it enables us to make informed decisions and actions. And I've split this into kind of 3 areas that we're kind of with those tips. So increasing knowledge around the climate crisis and sustainability, increasing knowledge around the impact of actions and the biggest opportunity areas, and then what the practical actions that they can do to help, or what we can do to help. So in terms of the first point, increasing members' climate knowledge, one way we do this for our platforms is using educational activities to advance and enhance members' knowledge of sustainability. So, for example, there might be a quiz on the platform where they can earn points for asking questions. It's not laborious, it's kind of light touch and quick, but it starts to build up that knowledge. Other activities that we might have on the platform are kind of highlighting key learnings, after asking members to highlight what they've learned after watching a video or reading an article that we might share, and also doing internal training. So any trainings that you've got internally, rewarding members for that and empowering them to actually take that training and use it. Additionally, furthering kind of knowledge around the Sustainable Development Goals and other frameworks that are out there. So Reading on their programme actually have these kind of little bits of information which members can click on to then learn more about. So the Sustainable Development Goals, for example, they're showing how the different actions on the platform actually link to the Sustainable Development Goals as a way to enhance knowledge around the Sustainable Development Goals, and then also drawing attention to their Climate Stripes framework, which kind of showcases the measure of the degree of warming of the planet over the past years. So from that first aspect of climate knowledge, increasing climate crisis and awareness of sustainability, then it's the kind of creating awareness of the impact of our own actions and carbon footprint. So a new feature which we've recently been developing is a carbon calculator, which is embedded within the platform, and that's really about I think it's really important because you do the calculation, and then you as an individual get an understanding of what is your carbon footprint. You get the results, and you can see where are the biggest areas in your life that have the biggest carbon footprint, and therefore are the biggest opportunity to reduce your carbon footprint. And I think the sustainability area is so broad, and there's so much we can do, that actually having that knowledge is so important to then focus our energy on where we can have the greatest impact. And so from that, we within the platform, we also then suggest activities that they can do. So the clear actions like rethinking how travel to work, whether that's carpooling if they have to drive, or if there's public transport or active travel methods like cycling or walking. The other part of kind of understanding awareness of our own actions is the impact. So within the platforms, we have an impact dashboard, which shows the impact over the last 12 months as an individual and also as the wider organisation that they're part of or team. And that is the number of points accumulated, but really things like CO2e avoided, that can be translated into kilowatt hours of energy saved or the number of homes powered, something that's kind of quite tangible like that. And that will be a motivator for some, that kind of knowledge that the actions that they're doing are having an impact, can be a big motivator to continue. And so with those points, we've got kind of building that climate knowledge, awareness of our own actions, and then what those actions are, and then the activities kind of provide those actions. Another point of knowledge is power, thinking about kind of if the client or the person who's running the platform or behind the engagement strategy, it's the data of how people are engaging. So I think that can be really important to then understand, what are the biggest opportunities, where are we really engaging with people, and maybe where can we do more. Within our platform, we have a kind of new data dashboard coming, which shows engagement relating to strategic areas. So this is an example with the Sustainable Development Goals, and that enables to understand, well, it helps with reporting and understanding of impact against the Sustainable Development Goals, but we can also edit that to be against the strategic areas. So if you've got a strategy internally and you want to actually understand how the actions within the platform match to your strategy, then we can match that up, so then you can see that data. And that provides you with the knowledge to then make decisions going forward as to how you react. Okay, so number 4, incentivize initiatives. So I guess there's a question here. The reason why I've put this one in is because for some people, they might be thinking, well, I don't have to do this, so why would I engage in sustainability? And I think that's an important piece to recognise. Different people are motivated by different things. So some will be motivated by the impact they're having, some by being part of a community, some voucher rewards or prizes, and it's likely a combination of all of these. So thinking about when someone does something great, how can that be rewarded? Within our platforms, in terms of the people accrue points through their actions, and that can lead to prizes. So the people who have earned the most points are then able to win a voucher, and they get a congratulations email upon receiving that voucher, telling them that they're a winner. And that congratulations email is important to help them feel good, celebrate what they're doing. We also include their name in the monthly newsletter. Again, they'll see that, or a colleague might see that and congratulate them. But seeing your name in that newsletter is an acknowledgement of, what they've done, and again, helps that person to feel good. And I think that's so important, that feeling good, that positive reinforcement of the behaviours and what we're trying to encourage. And then in addition to that, we've got some achievement badges. So this is another form of that kind of incentivizing and incentivizing initiatives. So with this is about hitting certain milestones. And it's about encouraging longer term engagement. So you've got the monthly rewards, but beyond that, they might have reported their actions. So they might have switched off lights or cycled to work for 10 weeks. That's actually really great achievement if they hadn't done it before, that change in behavior. And they can then earn badges for hitting those streaks, like 10 weeks, 20 weeks. We've had members go up to 30, 40, 50 weeks, which is amazing. And we've from our kind of customer service and interaction with end users, we know that those streaks are really important to them. Outside of the platform, kind of in terms of incentivizing initiatives, we also talk about how that can be communicated internally. So that might be within the newsletter internally, having the sustainability star of the month, and celebrating that person. Other people can see it. It also gives an opportunity to then communicate about the programme and about your sustainability agenda beyond the people who are already engaged, and encouraging other people to get engaged. So the final point is around communicating success, which is similar to incentivizing initiatives, but this is also about highlighting the progress that's been made so far. I think Simon made a good point of there's a lot going on. Sustainability teams are working really hard and making great progress, and every small win is a win that is something that can be communicated and celebrated. It's also about recognizing the effort and work of people. And I think particularly, the effort within the sustainability teams, but also the effort of people who sustainability isn't obligatory within part of their role, but it's a passion of theirs, and they're kind of taking that extra effort to think about how they can bring it in. So recognizing their effort and then encouraging them to do it, and encouraging other people to get involved as well. So with that in mind, that kind of communicating success, one of our recent updates on the platform has really been bringing that in. So every week, members get an opportunity to report on the actions that they've done that week. So cycling to work, recycling, buying secondhand items or upcycling things. And this is a quite short process, and they go through the process, and at the end they get immediate kind of feedback on how great they're doing. So you can see on this, it's kind of the number of points they've accumulated, where they are on the leaderboard, CO2 carbon emissions avoided as a result of their actions. And there's also a message on, you're doing really great, and keep going, really. And I think that's such an important thing. It doesn't always have to be, financial rewards and that kind of thing, but actually just a little nudge to say, this is going really well. That kind of cheerleading. And going back to just the achievement badges, that's another kind of way of that kind of communicating success. Once they receive that badge, they get a pop-up saying, they've done this, keep going. You're just a few weeks away from getting your next badge. So it's encouraging that next step. So that brings me to the end. Oh no, it doesn't. I've got one more. So final bit on communicating success was around where. So this is also important, where you put it. So annual report is a great place. Rewards events, if you've got an existing one, which you could slide a sustainability award into, or if you've got capacity to run a sustainability award. We have one university who was doing that. Digital screens, Simon highlighted, a screenshot of some of the things that they've got on their digital screens. Website is an obvious one, an easy one. And then what is it communicating? So obviously it's great to communicate how people get engaged, and that's really important, but also what's happened so far. So carbon avoided in the last 12 months, how that equates to, tangible things like flights or homes powered or car journeys taken, the actions taken, and then also champions who are involved, who's done great work, and kind of role modeling that. And that also gives an opportunity for others who might be interested to reach out to that person and say, oh, I saw you were listed, or you got this award. I'm really interested to hear more and find out more. And that's just another way of kind of reaching out and extending the audience. So I think that does, bring me to the end. So the 5 tips, I'll just run through them, that we went through, was about making it visible, inspiring action, boosting knowledge, incentivizing, and communicating success. Any questions you have, do pop them in the chat.